guys, it's David from davidpatrickgreen.com and hackhollywood.com and of course actorpower.com. So today's topic is one that is debated continually. People talk about it a lot as, oh, you need to change this, you need to change that. Today's topic is how to create the perfect actor resume. So, how do you create the perfect actor resume? Well, first of all, there is no perfect actor resume. What there is the best resume that represents you the best. So, what is it that should be on your resume? Most actors are trying to pack as much stuff onto their resume as possible, hoping something will stick, right? Because they're not looking at who they're submitting to. They're not looking at the roles they're submitting for. They're just like, I'm sending this out. This is my resume. Completely wrong approach. You're never going to hear this from anybody else. You're going to hear this only from me. Every time you send out a resume, you should completely personalize it, okay? You should be only focused on the job you're trying to get right then and there. Now, you might be saying, but David, if I do that, I can only submit to maybe a couple of projects a day because I'm going to be rearranging my resume constantly. Yeah, and that's the point. You don't need to blanket the world with your picture and your resume. You don't need to apply for every possible acting job that you might be remotely right for. 99% of the time, you're not going to be right for it. So pick the stuff only that you are absolutely right for, because then you're going to be in contention every single time. But let's get back to the resume part of it. How do you adjust your resume to make it most appealing to the people you are applying to in that particular moment? Well, what you need to do is try and get into the head of the producers and the director, potentially the casting director as well, if there is a casting director involved. I guess it depends on what level you are at. If you're at the beginning level and you're looking at student filmmakers, they are taught a certain way to look at resumes, and it's not that much different from what actors are taught. That actors should have this, they should have their, TV and film credits at the top, and then their theater credits below that, and then they should have their training below that, and then their special skills below that. Tons of information, and that's what they teach them at film school, right? Because nobody's creative. They just teach a curriculum. This is how you do it. This is how we do it. Montel Jordan, a little throwback to 1997. That's not how you do it. How you do it is, if you put yourself in the shoes of the producer. Okay, I'm the producer. I want to see a resume that appeals to me personally. Okay, so, this person is highlighting the things about them that are relevant to me. So based on the type of project it is, based on whatever you can figure out about me. So as a student filmmaker, you're not going to be able to figure out much about me, but you could actually call the campus. Maybe there's a way to reach me. Maybe you can ask the producer, the student filmmaker about themselves, and then you could send your application, your submission. In the TV world, it's a little easier. You can do research. You can go into IMDb. You can Google people. In fact, you can even Google a student filmmaker. You never know what might come up, right? Everybody's got social media pages. If they have made films in the past, like maybe they're doing a master's program, they might have short films that are already out there. They might have a YouTube series. Look for people's information, research them, and then try to figure out, are you a good match for this person? And if you think you are, then identify how you are a good match to them and the roles that they have on offer. So it doesn't really matter, actually, if it's a student filmmaker, if it's an independent filmmaker, if it's a massive studio project. You can always do a little bit of homework, and if you can't figure out the actual facts, then you can try and make some assumptions. You might be right, you might be wrong, but you can even write a note saying, I believe since you are from Iowa, that you may have those, hometown sensibilities, probably less likely to be an edgy goth, I don't know, city LA person and that mentality, if you just came right off the farm because you dreamt of being a filmmaker all your life, you can make certain assumptions, guesses, educated guesses about people, and present your resume in a way that's going to appeal to them. So if you've got some projects that appeal to what they're looking for, move those up to the top, okay? And frankly, delete the ones that are least interesting to them. What you want to do is make it as easy as possible for them to see why you're a good fit, okay? Because after you look at 1,000 resumes, you don't want to go name, agency, address, hair color, eye color, height, weight, credits, 85 movie credits, none of which I've ever heard of. Okay, what am I supposed to do with that? USC, Chapman, NYFA, whatever. All these credits, you don't know if it's good or bad. Studied at this place, studied at that place. All of that stuff doesn't really mean anything. It's just stuff on paper. But if you can show that you have an inclination towards doing projects that they're interested in, which frankly, I don't know why you wouldn't, because why else would you be applying to a project unless you had an interest in it? And so hopefully you can show that on your resume. Hey, this is what I've done. Oh, you're a horror filmmaker? Look, I've done horror films in the past. Delete the rest. What do they care that you did, the Brady Bunch sequel or the Brady Bunch prequel or whatever? Give them the stuff that relates to what it is they're trying to do. Now, training is another thing. Okay, a lot of us have trained at 85 different places, me included, and we want people to know that because we don't have much else to offer. But you know what? If you just have the relevant stuff and you delete or thin the herd of all the other stuff, then it'll be much more pleasant for your audience, the producer, filmmaker, writer, director, to look at your resume and quickly decide, this person has done horror films. There's not too much else stuff I have to look at. That's all I need to know. He seems to be really interested in horror films, and he wrote me a nice note saying, hey, looked you up on YouTube and saw that you had made some pretty cool horror short films in the past, and I would really like to work with you. But bam, what more do you need? What's better, doing that or having a generic resume that just says height, weight, hair color, eye color, name, address, or email address, a bunch of random credits, a bunch of training credits, a bunch of special skills. Let's talk about special skills for a second. Nobody ever uses them. I have been writing and filling out special skills forms for the past 10, 12, 13 years. I don't think I've ever been asked to use any of them. I used to demonstrate some of them because I got some pretty cool ones. I used to demonstrate them at casting director workshops just so someone would know I could do things like speak French, whistle really loudly without my hands. Right? Very few people can do that, especially Caucasians. Other countries all can whistle. I don't know, it's a necessity of life. When your hands are full, you need to whistle at somebody, hey! So, great skill to learn. Took me 2 years. Got videos on it, look it up. And so, special skills, really irrelevant. Oh, you can ride a horse, great. How many times do you need to ride a horse in a movie or TV? Hardly ever. What else? I don't know. Oh, you can, I don't honestly know what other special skills you need to use in a movie. 99% of scenes in movies are just talking, right? Just talking. You may have to throw a fake punch or something. I mean, you might have to do a love scene. You kiss somebody. I don't think you can write that special skill down. You know, you can play golf. They have stunt people to do all of this stuff that are really hard and potentially dangerous. They don't want to injure you. So, you know, unless it's a student film where they, you know, decide they want somebody to ride a horse, fine. If you can ride a horse, great. But it just doesn't come up a lot, guys. So de-emphasize all of this other stuff. That really the stuff that counts is what you have done in the area that they specialize in. And everybody specializes in one way or another. Whether it's stated or whether it's implied by just looking at what they have done, everybody specializes. So just acknowledge that it's true and make it look like at least you specialize in what they specialize in, because ideally you do, so you're a fit, okay? you know, this is the church, and this is the steeple. Open the doors and see all the people. You guys want to be a fit, okay? That's what you should be going after, and your resume should reflect that. So if you can only do 2 or 3 submissions a day, I guarantee you those submissions will be so much more effective than if you're just trying to submit for everything because, well, I want to do comedy, but I don't want to give up drama, and I'm really a fan of Shakespeare, and I'd like to play superheroes, but I like to play villains, and I like to play the happy dad, and I like to play the dark emotional guy. And maybe I could play a few female roles too because, you know, why limit myself? So this is what most actors do, and it's the wrong approach. Everybody else in life is trying to specialize because to get up higher and higher and higher in life, you specialize more and more and more, okay? It's very hard to be an extremely successful generalist who's more or less good at a bunch of things. That's like a CEO type. And really the CEO type, they're not necessarily good at anything other than supervising everybody else, okay? And just motivating the team. So as far as actors go, be a specialist. Be really good at one thing and identify the people who are doing the thing you're really good at and connect with them and make sure your resume identifies you as someone who specializes in what they specialize in. I guarantee you, you will get amazing results and connect with them. Don't just send the resume. If there's a way to send a note, if there's a way to send a separate email, if there's a way to call them, if there's a way to drop in on them, then do it. A face-to-face meeting is probably worth 1,000,000 times more than a social media post. Probably 1,000 times better than a phone call, 100,000 times better than an email. So the face-to-face, if you can do it, go for it, okay? Even if you don't get that job, you made a relationship. And a lot of student filmmakers, a lot of indie filmmakers are going places, and you just keep in touch with them. And if they end up being successful, they'll want to work with you again because you've shown what an awesome person and how you have very similar interests. And the same applies to TV and film. Try and connect with people in TV and film that you connect with naturally, because there's no point in trying to pretend you're something you're not. It's just not going to work. So with your resume, always delete everything that's not relevant. I just actually did this with a coaching client. He had a ton of stuff on his resume, and he wanted to, but he also had some professional TV credits. But he did what everybody does, right? It's in chronological order. And I'm like, okay, you know what we're going to do? Just delete everything from your resume. Well, but dude, I have awesome training credits. I have special skills. I've got theater. Well, you've already got proof that whatever training you have worked. Training is only important if you have no proof that you know what you're doing. It's like you get your first job with a college degree. But when you're in middle management, they're not looking to see if you've got a college degree. They're looking to see if you can do the job that you're doing, okay? That training is irrelevant once you've got professional credits. And training is frankly irrelevant anyway. It doesn't mean you can do anything. It just means you went to a prestigious school, so they assume that the school filtered out the bad actors and only let in the good ones. But it doesn't mean you're castable in anything in particular. So, get these ideas out of your head that you've got to follow a set of rules. The rules you should follow are what makes you stand out the most for the roles you are the best match for and the ones you're most interested in. And it makes it as easy as possible for the producer to see that on your resume. So my client, he had some TV credits and he had them all chronological. A couple of them I didn't recognize. And I said, what is this? And he goes, well, it's a pilot or whatever. And like a lot of people like to say, I'm making a pilot, which just means a show with no backing, no hope for ever getting out there. Could be a teaser, trailer, whatever. Misused term often. So he had these things, and I said, look, dude, what are you trying to get on? This show. Okay, so what's the closest thing to that show? You're trying to get on to Silicon Valley, and you got a credit on How I Met Your Mother or The Big Bang Theory. Move those up to the top because that's what they want to see. Oh, can do comedy, has comedic sensibilities, duh, make that the easiest thing. And then I said, you know what else? Just delete everything else. He's like, what about my special skills? Does this role call for special skills? No. So why have them? Why not just put the special skill that the role calls for? If the role calls for horseback riding, then put horseback riding on the thing. But they don't need to see that you're a race car driver if they want a horseback rider. In fact, if you put all that other stuff on there, they probably won't even see that you can ride a horse because they're going horseback riding, fluent in French, moccasin sewer, juggler, lights fire with hands, right? Like, who can get to the horseback part if if there's so many other special skills? So just delete everything except for what's relevant and try it out. Hey, I could be wrong, but you know I'm right because it makes perfect sense. Because if I'm the producer, that's what I want to see. I want to see, oh, comedic credits, great, co-stars, guest stars, whatever. Okay, I'll buy it. Let's bring him in. And guess what happened? He submitted that resume with a blank everything, and he was like, he got a guest star audition. And he did it without an agent. He called the casting director directly, and he said, hey, I'm just going to submit this thing for you. Let me know if you want me to put a tape together, because he wasn't even in the same city. He was in New York, and they're in LA. And he said he heard back, yeah, we'd like to see you. And he submitted his guest star audition. We'll see what happens. It just happened. But anyway, guys, that is the best way to do your resume. Personalize it to every single person you're working with or hope to work with, and delete everything that's irrelevant to them. Because what do they care that you did something completely non-related? You know, I have been a lot of things, okay? I've been a management consultant, and I've worked with a variety of clients within management consulting. I worked in the advertising business in Warsaw, Poland. I worked for a ski shop in the Alps in France. What else have I done? I worked at a collection agency. I sued people for a living for a while. You know, I've been an actor. I've run my own business, and I coach people. So all of those different things are completely irrelevant. If I'm trying to get coaching clients, what do they care that I was, you know, worked at a ski shop in France? It might be curious to them. They might go, oh, that's interesting, but they also might go, this guy's weird. Why has he done all these different things? Is he running from the law? So look, guys, just give them what they want. Okay, tell them what they want to hear, as they say, but be truthful and make sure you can do what it is you hope to do for them. If you can do that and you are forward and aggressive about it and let them know any way possible, they will appreciate it, because you're going to fill a role and solve a problem for them that they might have a lot of difficulty solving otherwise. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut it off there. Hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, like it. I don't even know what my framing is like because I'm using my cell phone tonight. Yeah, and please share it, because it's important that all actors find this information out. Because if we all know this stuff, then we're going to cut out a lot of bad information that really just bogs the whole industry down. I'm trying to make the industry more efficient. There's no point in applying for every role when you're not right for them. So what are you doing? You're getting in the way of the people that are right for it. So guys, focus on the stuff you're right for, and leave the stuff you're not right for alone, so that the people that are right for it can get it. And there's no mistakes. You know, oh, we brought in 20 people, and the one person that was right for it actually didn't get brought in because they had a generic resume and they didn't understand they needed to pitch themselves for it, and their agents won't pitch because they're scared to alienate casting directors. Like, that makes a lot of sense. You've got the perfect actor, but you're scared to pitch him? What? I mean, there's a lot of craziness out there. But it seems like common sense because people are so scared of losing whatever they've got. And even if they don't have something, they're scared of losing what they want to get. But if you don't have it, you can't lose it. So you might as well go after it, right? Fall on your face over and over and over until you get what you want. Okay, guys. Yeah, and subscribe to my channel, because you can hear lots of rants like this about amazing topics. And I will tell you the truth. I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me no matter what other people say or do to me. I will talk to you later.